Here we've been talking a lot about the governor's proposal to have a bond referendum in November. He wants to put this before the voters and have you decide if now is the time to spend probably somewhere in the area of $2.5 billion to upgrade the state's infrastructure and create some new things that we need in the state of North Carolina. Interest rates are at historical lows right now, and the state budget director Lee Roberts has done the projections on this and says we can do this and not raise taxes. And so there's a lot of speculation about what kind of things would be in this, and there's a lot of negotiating going on and talking about what's needed and not needed. One of the things that's being proposed, and I believe this came from the governor's office, is a new state medical examiner's office that would be built right here in Greenville. So I wanted to find out more about that. I got a couple of folks on the phone here, two different folks from Raleigh that are conferenced in. Danny Staley is the division director of the Department of Health and Human Services Division of Public Health. And I believe on the phone we also have Dr. Lou Turner, the section chief of the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner and State Lab. Good morning, folks. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Good morning.
How are you all doing? It's nice to have you. What's happening? Is it hot in Raleigh this morning? I was in Raleigh yesterday and I nearly melted.
Yeah, I think my lungs vaporized on the way in, and from a mountain boy from Boone, North Carolina, this hot weather is hot.
Now, what is the now, Dr. Turner, is what you do? This is an amateur question. Is what you do akin to what we see on the CSI programs?
Not really. It is. I mean, as far as these facilities are used to provide autopsies for, legal purposes or medical legal purposes. We want to identify what was it that this decedent died of, and if it's a homicide. I mean, there are different types of cases that must be autopsied. And and medical examiners also investigate unnatural deaths, unexpected deaths, things like that.
So what you do is more akin to what we see the medical examiner doing on Law and Order.
I can't. Perhaps I've never watched Law and Order.
Oh, come on! You never watched Law and Order? You got to watch Law and Order. I thought everybody had. Well, anyway, I'll try to stop relating you to a TV show. The state examiner, medical examiner's office. Now, is all of this currently done in Raleigh, in a lab in Raleigh?
No, actually, it's not. We work with 3 regional centers. The ECU School of Medicine has a center that was created when they were built 25 years ago. That's a partner, and we contract with them to provide this service. The same is true at Wake Forest Baptist Hospital in Winston-Salem, and then Mecklenburg County regional medical examiner system. So they already provide, as well as the OCME, the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, that's located here in Raleigh. So they provide these services for our citizens across the state.
But Danny, what is being proposed as part of this budget is a new medical examiner's office here in Greenville. Is that correct?
It is. The current facility there is 25 years old. It was built in 1989, and it was built to serve that existing the hospital there, and so as you can imagine, is quickly outgrown what the need is. As we look at our state's population has greatly increased, and we see even in Greenville, I never will forget driving down through there and going to one of those great barbecue places that will remain nameless, and I made a trip back down recently, and I couldn't believe just the amount of traffic and construction that has occurred in just over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the booming areas of the state of North Carolina. Now, if this bond passes and the medical examiner's office is in the bond, would it be a new building that would be built here in Greenville, or would it be something that would be an appendix maybe of the Vidant Medical Center?
It would be a new state facility, and we're not sure if it would be located on the campus there with the School of Medicine or in an adjacent property that's very close to the hospital. The state does own property there, so that is yet to be decided.
So currently there, I assume, are state employees at work in this facility. Would this increase the number of jobs in Greenville?
There might be the possibility of increasing the jobs, but actually the people that work at the current facility are university and hospital employees. So we would expect them to continue to be the experts there on the ground. They would staff and operate the new facility.
Right. Okay. And, of course, we've talked a lot about what's going on with the budget right now, and the fact that the Senate budget is going to be very harmful to Vidant Health and Greenville and this medical economy here, which is the number one part of our economy. So we're very concerned about that. But in addition to that, the Senate has not warmed up to this idea of the bond referendum yet. I know there's still a lot of negotiating going on. I ran into Lee Roberts in the building yesterday, and there's still some talk. At this moment, though, if this bond were to pass, if we do have this facility, if we do have this bond referendum in November and the voters agree to it, tell us why people should vote yes for this if it is on the bond in November, why this is so sorely needed, and why it's a benefit to the people of Eastern North Carolina.
Well, this center actually serves 25 counties in Eastern North Carolina. So I think, for one thing, one of the benefits is if your loved one unfortunately dies, then this is where they would be taken for autopsies. And it's also where law enforcement would go to observe autopsies or to be present. So you are keeping them closer to their loved ones, and that helps with the turnaround time of trying to return the remains to the families. So I think that's the first benefit, is just trying to be fair and equitable to the families and make sure that the bodies get returned. There's also the intent of having the new facilities be eligible to be accredited by the national board that accredits medical examiner offices. And the current one would not meet those accreditation requirements. And so I think that accreditation also provides the citizens with knowledge that the facility is adequate, the staffing is adequate, the quality assurance of the testing that's done there or the autopsies. So it's really building on the whole notion that we want to have a really great system to provide these services for our citizens.
Danny, what else would you like to add to that in closing here this morning with regard to this new facility that may be built in Greenville if the bond passes?
Right. Well, I think, Lou definitely hit the highlights of what is important and why, because I know with Governor McCrory has really focused on trying to strengthen the medical examiner system and trying to really look at how we provide the best customer service. The reality for us is our state has grown. I mean, North Carolina native, I love the state. I love being able to serve my fellow North Carolinians, but we're dealing with an antiquated infrastructure that really struggles at times in meeting the service expectations of the people of the state.
Well, thank you both for being with us. I know that we got a ways to go before this actually takes place, but it's exciting to hear that some of the money that would be spent in the bond would be spent right here in Greenville for the benefit of the people here in Eastern North Carolina. So we appreciate you guys updating us on that. Did we cover it all?
I believe we did.
All right. Well, thank you both, Dr. Lou Turner from the State Chief Medical Examiner's Office and Danny Staley from the Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you both, and stay cool up there today.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Bye-bye.